Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button. I'm back with the Realest Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr. breakdown. Right? And I gotta say some things. Let me get the particulars out of the way. First, congrats to the current IBF champion. You see it, strap season, Mr. Man down. And he pulled off the victory in Kell Brook's backyard in Sheffield, not even just in England in general. Like, it's not like they fought at Wembley or Manchester. They fought actually where he's from, in Sheffield. And he lifted that belt from him via 11th round stoppage. It was kind of like a quit, no mas type of deal. And I'm going to break that down and break everything down that I've seen and what led up to the moment. For Kell Brook's part, shout out to him for fighting Golovkin fight, which he got stopped, he lost, tough fight, and actually accepting the challenge, you know what I mean? And he held his own. Let me just get to the I guess the actual breakdown. Those are the particulars. I try to give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not fights like this, Joshua Klitschko, you notice I don't really focus on the bad and the ugly because I think these are great fights. They're meaningful fights, and the fans definitely didn't lose. And although there's certain things I think each person could do different, I can talk about those, but I'm not going to go as far as saying Kell Brook did this and it was just horrible, or Errol Spence did this and it was ugly. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna nitpick them like that. I will give you what I think they did right and wrong. Now, as you guys know, if you follow the channel for any length of time, I did the 7 reasons on this particular fight, and I made the video 7 reasons why Errol Spence Jr. would beat Kell Brook, would beat him, right? And this is the funny thing, and I'm not gonna spend too much time because we don't have to spend too much time talking about the haters. But first of all, some people hate, and they're like, oh, you just pick the favorites. I don't even care who's favorite. I don't even really know about sports betting, so I don't really care about that. I care who I think will win, and based on what I've seen. And beyond that, it's not just picking a winner, because anyone could do that. It's 50-50. It's 2 people in the ring, divide by 2, that's 50. So you have a 50% chance of success. It's what I'm saying in the 7 reasons, me actually breaking down, and the videos are still up. I don't duck or dodge or delete nothing. You guys can listen to what I was saying, and a lot of it came true, and I'll probably make a follow-up 7 reasons to this particular fight because it was a fun fight and I'm ahead of the curve. I have time. Other people hit me up and say, oh, someone stole your idea and they're doing their own 7 reasons or 50 reasons, whatever people are doing now. You know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but beyond that, it's more than just doing a 7 reasons or 6 reasons or whatever, 2 reasons. It's telling the people, you have to build trust and rapport that people know they can side with your opinion, whether you're right or wrong. I've been wrong. I thought Garcia would beat Thurman, but I said via decision. I didn't say there would be a knockout or nothing like that. So it's not just about doing videos and predictions. I try to be as accurate as possible. Now let's get it in. So you guys see the 7 reasons, and it was a fun fight, man. I enjoyed it at least. I don't know what everyone else felt about it, but I did the round by round tweets. Kell Brook comes out very aggressive. Round 1, don't know how much that helps him with his style. Seems to have nervous energy. Errol Spence Jr. stays calm. So the name of the game for this fight was adjustments. I think both fighters tried different things, and I respect the hell out of that, because if you go in with one game plan, if you're fighting elite level, more often than not, unless you're like maybe like a Floyd Mayweather, you just fighting so dominant of competition, and you know, I mean, your skill set is just so well polished. Or maybe even Golovkin when he was fighting people. I'm not comparing him to Floyd, but I'm saying Golovkin in the sense of his division, the middleweight division wasn't really stacked, so he was able to blow through those dudes because he was clearly a cut above them. You know what I mean? But all in all, if you're in a stacked division with stacked talent, this is what I expect from fights. And see, when I do the 7 reasons, this is not to bash. This is me honestly giving you guys from my heart what I think is going to happen. I don't pick off race. I don't pick off height or weight division or who I like or who I know, who I've interviewed. If I do the video, then that's what I feel, point blank period. And I told you guys some of the things in the 7 reasons, and to me, Kell Brook, I think I noticed something with him. I told you guys, I like forensic files and shows like that, and I really try to solve puzzles and stuff. I'm pretty good with puzzles. And what I noticed, Kell Brook has been inconsistent with this fight, with what he said then a couple months ago and what he's saying now. He says, oh, I can't I can't really get up for a guy like Errol Spence because nobody really knows who he is, and he's Jeff Lacey and this and that, right? But as the fight got closer, he was saying this is gonna be my toughest fight, and this is a tough challenge, and things of that sort. So to me, that causes concern. It's just like when promoters say one thing and then 2 weeks later there's another interview and they contradict themselves. So to me, I knew Kell Brook knew what he was up against in this fight. And in that round 1, I thought Kell Brook, it's kind of risky, but it reminded me of Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo. When you're the more proven guy, right? And this other kid is getting praise. Oh, he's a power puncher. He's good. He's that. You want to assert yourself quick. And Mayweather versus Canelo, go back and watch those first couple rounds, 2-3 rounds. He was trying to kind of dog Canelo early, but he noticed Mayweather being the highest of levels in terms of ring IQ and smarts and fighting smart. He realized that Canelo wasn't there for that. Canelo was actually probably more precise and more accurate than he probably estimated. You know what I mean? He probably underestimated things about Canelo. So he had to get back to boxing, give him different looks. He just couldn't come out there and land big money shots and stuff so he had to work up to that. And then as the fight wore on, Floyd was Floyd, and he pieced up and dogged Canelo. But I think that's kind of the same Brook game plan. He came out round 1 very aggressive, but Errol Spence didn't just buckle and fold. That's where that Olympic pedigree comes in, right? He didn't just fold and like, oh man, because he did get hit. He got hit with some shots, right? And I can't wait to talk about that aspect of it. But I didn't know how much I don't know if I really liked the game plan in round 1. I think Kell Brook, maybe since he's such a good counter puncher, maybe have Errol stalk him first and see how that works, and then try to pick him off with hard shots where you're planted and stuff like that. I don't know. This is my little takeaway or whatever. But he was aggressive. I gave him that round. Round 2 for Kell Brook, I gave him the first 2 rounds. But Errol, again, was staying calm and putting an uncomfortable pressure on to mindfuck Brook to get a psychological edge. And that's what I noticed, something that Spence Jr. did throughout the fight. And what I mean by mindfuck is when you're a big puncher like Brook and a good fighter, and somebody is getting hit, they're getting tagged, they're eating some of your shots, and they stay on top of you, that mind fucks you, because you're like, damn, what must I throw in order to get this guy's respect, or to get him off of me, or have him visibly hurt, right? And even though I gave round 2 for Kell Brook, I seen what Errol Spence was trying to do. He was like, okay, I'll take that. You know what I mean? Just like Errol's been in with the best of them. He's been with Floyd. He's been in doghouse sparring. Broner can scrap. You know what I mean? He's fought those guys. So he was very calm, and that's what impressed me about Errol Spence, is even though I thought he was losing in the first 5-6 rounds. I thought he was losing not many, but I think he lost more of the first 5 rounds than he won. You know what I mean? Kell Brook was accuracy. He had the accuracy. He had a good jab. His shots looked very fluid. He was using some movement. He just looked fresh. He looked good out there, right? Spence defense looks better than in previous fights, more calculated and cautious. Now, this is the thing I gotta expose. People always say X, Y, and Z, and then after we get an outcome, they switch it, right? People said before the fight that Spence ain't fought nobody. Then he goes overseas to fight Kell Brook. Now what's your excuse? They turned to something else. And people kept bringing up to me before this fight how Errol Spence, oh, I don't like that. I don't like how he gets hit too much. You see the fight, even Bundu was catching him. So if Kell Brook catches him, then this and that will happen. I'm trying to tell you guys, these fighters, elite level fighters or very good fighters, are not stupid. Point blank, period. And I really believe in my heart of all hearts that the fighters who are elite or closing in on being elite, since they aren't stupid, they prepare better and they get up for a certain competition. Like Canelo versus Golovkin. That's a 50-50 fight. Anyone can win the fight. But I do think with the mentality, what's on the line, I think both guys are going to prepare adequately and properly for that type of fight, right? You know that. And there's little subtle things, like if Errol Spence believes fighting Leonard Bundu, oh, I felt he don't really have no snap, he don't have no pop, and I could be a little bit more aggressive. In turn, I might get hit with one shot, but I can land 3 or 4. Then he might be more aggressive in that situation. Now, I'm not saying he's getting hit on purpose, but he's willing to embrace that to get this guy out of here, which to me, Keith Thurman could have done and should have done versus Bundu. You got to look at it. Keith Thurman called out, and I know my history of the boxing because I've been covering it for so long. Keith Thurman called out Floyd. He's like, 2000 whatever year. He's like, we burning money, baby. We burning. Come on, Floyd. You scared? Like, and Thurman did all that, and then he fought Bundu, and it was a kind of a stinker. Definitely wasn't the best fight of that night, right? And I think he not easily, but he could have got Bundu out of there. But he just, for whatever reason, chose to box after badly hurting him. And he did that off of a layoff. Errol Spence was off a layoff too. And my whole point to this tweet is people said he was getting hit too much, but I really think that he's not going in there with a Bundu mentality or Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri especially, that's probably even better example than Bundu, because respects to Algieri, but he's not really known as a power puncher. He's not really known for like knocking guys out at any type of level. He didn't knock out Amir Khan, Pacquiao, Ruslan, Errol Spence, Emmanuel Taylor, right? So he's not really known for that. So that's what I'm saying. You take more penitentiary chances in those situations. But he knows he's going up with Brook. He can't be getting hit, and it showed. He had his guard up high, and he wasn't getting hit with just foolish shots. He did get hit, but I really feel like it was a more of a testament to how tricky Brook is. He was leaping in and lunging in, and he's accurate, and he has some good speed, good legs, good hand speed. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he was getting hit with foolishness. You know what I mean? Like a shot you should have seen a mile away, like street fights. When you watch street fights, somebody, you see them cock back and it's like a slow shot, and I'm like, damn, people are like, you got hit with that? You know what I mean? But that's my whole point. And another person that comes to mind that got a lot of criticism for that is Terrence Crawford. After he fought Lundy and he fought Dear Jean, and after those 2 fights, people are like, oh, I don't like Crawford. I don't like how he's getting hit so much. But I'm like, you think he's going to really do that versus Victor Postal? He's going to like not be mindful of his defense. And see, that's to me what makes a complete fighter, right? Is when you could do more than one thing. Like, it's like, okay, I may have got hit. Like, you look at Terrence Crawford versus Gamboa, he got hit more in that fight than he did with Felix Diaz. And they're both Olympic gold medalists with similar pedigrees, right? Similar styles, if you will, short, stocky, some good power, you know what I mean, busy normally. And Crawford made those adjustments. So to me, at the elite levels, it's really all about adjustments. And I think Errol Spence's defense looked a lot tighter than when he was fighting lower level. It's no different than Kovalev when he fought Isaac Chilemba. He looked all right. He didn't look great, knocked him down. But he did that with Andre Ward, an Olympic gold medalist, and some people said he won the fight. So obviously he got up for the better competition. So this is what I expected of Errol Spence and Kell Brook. You know what you're in there with. Spence started round 3 very good. Then Kell started winning second half of the round. Good fight so far. Now, there were a couple rounds in between that, maybe rounds 3 through 6, where it was like a fight of halves. Like Errol Spence would start off and dictate and land in the better shots, and then Kell Brook would come on. Or Kell Brook started off with the great 1-2, pop, pop, and then Errol Spence would catch Kell Brook. So it was like a rough and tumble type of fight where it's back and forth. And I told people, like, on even my 7 reasons, I have the utmost respect for Kell Brook as a fighter. He could scrap. I told people about Brook when people in the States didn't even know who he was. I picked him to beat Sean Porter. The video is still up on the channel. I had a fight prediction way back then. They're like, who the hell is what? Sean Porter had beaten Devin Alexander. He had beat Julio Diaz cleaner than in the rematch, and people didn't even know who Kell Brook was. And they're like, why would you pick him? You're dumb. Sean Porter's gonna dog him and this and that. You know what I mean? So I respect Kell Brook, and I never said it was gonna be easy, but I thought Errol Spence looked very sharp considering all things considered. Kell Brook did in spots, but we're gonna get kind of towards the downfall of what Kell Brook was doing. But I like how Spence started round 3. Spence very good body shots in round 4, and I think this this is one of the 7 reasons in that video that pays dividends, because you haven't been stopped. Kell Brook has. You didn't come down from middleweight. Kell Brook has. So I think when Errol Spence, if he weathered that early storm and invested those deposits to the body, then that would pay dividends later. And I think that's really, that and his jab, I think that really had a great toll on Kell Brook to slow him down, and so he didn't look fresh. Plus, you got to keep in mind, in any fight, unless you're on steroids or whatever, unless you're taking EPO or some kind of PED, the human body will get tired. So naturally, people rest, settle in a fight, and they're not necessarily going to be able to move for 12 solid rounds. And I think those early deposits to the body, every chance that Errol Spence had to get that, he was raking to the body. And he was putting some mustard on them shots. I said very good round 4, gave it to Errol Spence. Thought he did more work throughout the round, but Brook was landing very competitive, good shots. It's a highly competitive fight. And I expected this. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I do 7 reasons, I try to be as objective and realistic as possible. And that's it. You know what I mean? I didn't think Brook was gonna, that's why I said, if you listen to my prediction, I said stoppage mid to late rounds, because I knew it wouldn't be an early stoppage. How would that, Errol Spence wouldn't even have time to, especially not having that elite level name, he's gonna have to fill things out and build that confidence. He's not gonna just go in there. Golovkin didn't even just go in there and knock Brook out in the first round, even though he hurt him. So I didn't think Errol Spence would either. But another thing with some of the early rounds, I think the layoff, and this is not to make excuses, not really an excuse because he still won by stoppage, but I think the layoff, the 9-month layoff, maybe even overtraining, did affect Errol Spence in some of those early rounds. He even said post-fight he gave himself a B-, and he feels he could have did better and been sharper. And that's what it is. Some people were hitting me up on Twitter saying, "Oh, are you seeing this? Oh my gosh, Errol Spence is losing." Some of you guys panic too much. It's a fight. It's 12 rounds. You know what I mean? War gets hurt in the second round and then goes on to win the second half. It's a boxing. As long as this stuff is happening early, you definitely have a shot, especially when you have the power that Brook and Spence have. You know what I mean? You can make adjustments and stuff. People were panicking, saying, "Oh, Errol's losing." Okay, he was losing. He was getting outboxed, but he wasn't. I seen what he was doing, and he wasn't getting dogged. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, his defense was pretty tight up top. He wasn't giving away stupid shots, silly shots, getting hit with ridiculous, crazy shots where his head is flying back. You know what I mean? Like Floyd Mayweather versus Robert Guerrero or something. He was packed in tight, and he was getting hit, but that's because you're in there with the elite level fighter. I'm telling you guys, if everybody fought their contemporaries in this level of competition, like arguably the top 5 guys or top 3 guys, you know what I mean? And the fights will be competitive. Joshua Klitschko. That wasn't no easy work for Josh. That was no Eric Molina where you just went in there, hurt him, and just destroyed him, and he didn't even throw a punch back. Or Charles Martin. You know what I mean? Joshua stepped up. This is Klitschko we're talking about. Someone who's fought David Haye and everybody. And he has a lot of experience and power, and he's your size. So this fight really played out exactly how I said, and exactly how I expected it to. Round 5 was all for Kell Brook. At first, he was landing very good, accurate shots. I love this round from Kell Brook. I thought he was landing some sharp shit. But at the very last stanza, Spence caught him with a nasty combination late. And I said it was very good and competitive. So I probably would have, I got to watch it again, but I probably still would have gave him round 5 because I think he did the better work through majority of it. But he did give up big shots in that sequence late. And that wasn't a good sign because his head like really rocked back and stuff like that. Then, see, the seesaw. I told you guys it was that type of tug of war. Very good round 6 for Errol Spence Jr. He stumbled back with an off-balance shot. And Kell Brook thought he had him hurt because he kind of got him off balance and he kind of like tripped backwards. So Kell Brook, being a veteran, he pounced on him and started ripping shots. And you could tell it pissed Spence off because he came back ferocious and he started landing better shots. And I thought that sequence was really where I seen the fight change because he kicked up his aggression. Those first 5 rounds, all very competitive, back and forth action. But when I seen that moment in round 6 and seen how much respect Kell Brook gave him when he got aggressive, I was like, uh-oh. Because for the first time, Errol Spence really kind of opened up with his shots and his arsenal, and then you've seen an immediate respect or success, if you will, versus Kell Brook. So that was a real concerning, because Kell Brook was popping Errol Spence with a stiff jab and some good shots, but Errol Spence was eating some of those shots, still trying to counter, still going to the body, still jabbing, and then he got aggressive in round 6, and that was probably one of his best rounds up to that point. You know what I mean? So it's just, boxing is an ebb and flow, and it's like momentum, and I seen momentum switch from round 6. And I said I thought round 7 went to Spence. He was busier, more aggressive. He's been more aggressive the last 2 rounds. And then look, see, some of you guys don't know shit about boxing. Nah, bro, Spence looked tired. He taking more body shots now. Okay. But anyway, you guys can say whatever you want. Trust whoever you want. I try to pay it. I'm not perfect, but I try to pay attention to what's going on. I didn't see him looking tired. I thought he was easily ramping up the aggression. Round 8, Spence, it was a very good one too. He landed multiple clean lefts. The left was like the punch of that fight on Brook. Brook was, I noticed as he started to fatigue, he started trying to do stuff where he was like kind of leaping in. He was leaping and lunging, and he was crowding his work. And I don't like that. Unless you're Roy Jones Jr., that's the only person that I would have the complete faith in, because he was accurate, he was fast as hell, and he could knock you out from afar, from a distance. Watch the Roy Jones Jr. versus Montel Griffin, right? Things like that. And I seen Brook's demeanor slowly but certainly like it started to get faded, and the accuracy wasn't in those. Like I said, round 6 was that starting point where I really started to see some of it shift. And I'm gonna tell you like this, I know certain fighters do certain things, and to the untrained eye, it's gonna look good. You know what I mean? It's gonna, like Victor Postal versus Terrence Crawford. I was at the fight, very close. I watched that fight. Victor Postal was doing enough to not get knocked out, but he wasn't doing enough to win. And I'm not saying that in regards to Brook, but I'm just saying to the untrained eye, you'd be like, oh, Postal's really going for it, but he's not. You know what I mean? I watched the Canelo fight versus Miguel Cotto. Cotto was shoe shining and doing little things, but it wasn't really effective. So that's what it reminds me of fights like that, or moments like in those fights where Brook, what he was doing in the first 5 rounds was highly effective. But when he was doing this leaping and lunging and like clinching and stuff like that, that was more of a sign to me that he was trying to suppress and slow down the tempo of what Errol Spence was doing, and his work got progressively less clean, less effective. And it might look good to the pro UK crowd with 33,000 people, but I didn't like it. I thought his work, his precision and stuff was starting to fade when Errol Spence kicked up that pressure in round 6, right? Great round 9 for Errol Spence Jr. He had Brook hurt. It was very obvious to see. I think Brook fell back into the ropes. Brook did stay upright, but his body language looked wilted. Brook's eye is in bad shape. Very easy to see in this round everything that I just tweeted, right? Spence was like going for the kill. He had been building up. Plus, see, this is the thing. This is why I picked the late stoppage, because this fight really played out how I expected. Even when Kell Brook was winning the first half of the fight, more rounds, Spence wasn't getting blown out. You know what I'm saying? You could say, oh, Kell Brook had the best of that round, but you have to admit that there was some competitiveness, and Spence wasn't getting dogged. That's what we call it from the Bay. He wasn't being dogged. So when the tables shifted and Spence started to kick up his aggression and things seemed to go better his way, it was a lot more apparent to me. You know what I mean? Like round 9, Brook was clearly hurt. And even though he stayed upright, he showed mad heart. I give him props for that. But at the same time, his body language was not good to me. Like I said, he was looking wilted, even though he didn't go down. And then guess what? Very next round, Brook down in round 10. See, you have to be able to look at boxing. This tweet was at 3:22, and the one round before it was right before the round started. You know what I'm saying? I had finished typing my thing, and then what do you know? Brook gets knocked down in the very next round. You've seen him hurt. You've seen his body language, and even though he was showing heart and rallying, he was still not in great shape. And the crowd's going to get into it, try to lift their fighter, stuff like that. Awesome round 10. Spence round, easily a Spence round. He piled on the better shots. He knocked Brook down. Kell showed mad heart surviving, trying to fight back, but his body language was not looking great, and his eye was not looking great. But I give props for this. Kell Brook landed a crazy uppercut in round 11. He did show heart. Spence still not backing down, and I think that plus the body shots, that becomes hard to deal with, because even though Kell Brook landed shots, Jojo Dan would have probably been knocked out from this shot. Frankie Gavin would have been in the hospital from this shot. You know what I mean? Just simple shots like that. They probably would have got knocked down, a lesser level person. But the fact that Kell Brook was starting to fatigue, his eye was taking a lot of punishment, and Spence figured out and got into a rhythm to get more aggressive. That was kind of like, it was like, damn, it's not looking good for Kell Brook, because he was not able to hurt Spence the same way Spence was able to hurt him. Plus you got to look at fatigue. Plus you got to look at like I said earlier, the early deposits to the body. And then I put 7 reasons, and the fight was stopped. Kell Brook took a knee, and I said Kell Brook basically does a no mas after taking punishment, having his opposite eye damaged. Now, see, this is the thing. People make excuses. Oh, but Golovkin did this. Golovkin hurt his other eye. Kell Brook fought a left-hander, so his damage on this fight was from the other eye. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really blame the Golovkin fight. That's nothing wrong with that side of his face. The only thing that was the problem was from Spence's left. And I told you, he was landing, I forgot which round I said, but whatever, 6 or 7, he was landing that left at will, plus he was going to the body. And post-fight, Brook even mentioned, he says he caught me with the left. He said it hurt, and it put me in the same mindset of the Golovkin fight. Maybe not quite as hard, not as flush, but I was starting to see doubles, and basically I had to quit. He broke his man down, and I really believe that Kell Brook realized that if he didn't, he was getting broken down. He was getting dogged. That's really what it boils down to. He's getting broken down, because if he literally walked passively, and Spence is really trying to pile it on, and he walked to the corner and then just sat down. I mean, that's not a good sign. Again, like I said, round 9, not good body language. 10, and fighting back and trying to show that heart in round 10 probably took the last little bit out of his gas tank. And I mean, it looked like the end was near. I don't really see Kell Brook lasting the last round and a half, 11 and a half, or 11 and 12. But he you know what I mean, even if he didn't take the knee, he took the knee and just basically said, no, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I can't, my eyes bother me. I'm not going out like that. But to me, I think that was very evident to, he lost the battle of attrition, and he didn't want to repeat. And I told you guys that in the 7 reasons. Kell Brook's coming off of a dangerous fight with Golovkin. If the going gets tough and they're in the trenches, who's going to be the first to remember that? Brook has been stopped. Errol Spence has never been stopped as a pro. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have that fresh on his mind. So he clearly lost the battle of attrition. You know what I mean? And he probably had flashbacks and stuff like that. And he was getting broken down. And Spence was getting a second win and grinding him down. So we piled it on too much. Errol Spence stops Kell Brook in the 11th. Post-fight, Errol Spence, he gave himself a B-. Says he thought he would be a little sharper after a 9-month layoff. And I respect the dude, Errol Spence, for the way he conducts himself. Very humble. He wasn't braggadocious. He's like, yeah, I did my thing. He caught me with some good shots, but that's what a true champion does. I came to his backyard. He came to my backyard and beat Sean Porter. So I did it the same way. I thought I would be a little bit sharper, but that's what champions do. We buckle down and still make it work. And that's what Errol Spence did. Point blank, period. And it was a fun fight. I enjoyed it. I don't know where Kell Brook goes from here, but I don't know. I told you that Golovkin fight made no sense. And I'm not blaming it only on that, but that wasn't a good look for his career, because now you got your left eye wasn't looking good. Golovkin did a number on your right eye. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. The eye is one of the most important aspects of being a good fighter or having your wits about you in senses and defense. You have to have hand and eye coordination to be able to see shots coming and stuff. Now, let's talk about the haters a little bit more. And what about those people say Errol Spence gets hit too much? Post-fight, his face looked pretty clean. Kell Brooks was busted. See, that's what I'm telling you. And I understand that some people bruise easier and like cut easier. Like Gabe Rosado has a lot of scar tissue and stuff like that. But it's also what you're getting hit with. You know what I mean? And to me, even though Brook was winning in the first half, he was winning more rounds than Spence. He wasn't dogging Spence. If you guys get what I'm saying, he wasn't dogging him where Spence was just like, oh shit, and drunk and backing down severely and completely out of it. It wasn't like that. But when Spence ramped up his energy levels, when he mounted his attack ferociously and he kicked up the aggression, then you've seen it started to become more and more and more and break down Kell Brook. So I was very impressed with some of the ability of Spence, just the ability to have an improved defense, because you couldn't afford to get hit more than you were getting hit, like some of the shots maybe the Leonard Bundu or Algeria or something hit you with. And I said, of course he ate shots. It's a fight, but that's just it. He ate them, never dropped or caved in, and it was from a pressure from a talented fighter. Kell Brook fought a good fight first half, very good fight. And what people got to understand is, like, people, like someone said to me, like, you got to admit he did get hit though. Of course he got hit. It's a fight, you know what I'm saying? And of course he got hit. You don't go to a water park and water slide expecting not to get wet, you know what I'm saying? So that's just, to me, those comments are asinine. It's an elite level fight. That's why in my 7 reasons I pay respect to Kell Brook, even though I didn't have him winning. I didn't say it would be easy. I didn't say he's getting his ass beat and knocked out in round 1. I told you exactly how I felt, mid to late stoppage, and that's what happened. Errol Spence, fresher, started being surgical and breaking his man down once he got in the rhythm. And like I said, not to make excuse, I really feel that 9-month layoff and maybe even overtraining just for the opportunity, big fight, you've been trying to get it for a while, that might have led to some of those early rounds being closer. Like if they were to rematch for whatever reason, I think Errol Spence would probably look better. Like let's say they rematch in 3 months, 4 months. I think Errol Spence would probably even look sharper and probably get the job done sooner, to be honest. But, you know what I mean, maybe he had some jitters going overseas that he kept packed in, but a 9-month layoff and stuff like that. I gave you example, Keith Thurman, when he fought Leonard Bundu off of a 9-month layoff, I don't think he looked particularly good, and he went the distance, and he was a champion. And I understand Bundu was awkward, but Kell Brook is awkward as fuck, and he hits harder than Bundu, right? Is there anyone out there who would pick Leonard Bundu to beat Kell Brook? You know what I mean? Exactly. So the point being, I don't understand, like some people are still trying to make excuses, like, oh, but he got hit, oh, but he was losing who cares? But none of that matters. He wasn't getting destroyed or toyed with, like, you know what I mean, like Felix Diaz was versus Terrence Crawford. It was nothing like that. It was a competitive, highly contested fight, and that's what I expected from this. And I said, FYI, Errol Spence Jr. dropped Kell Brook before the no mas at his natural weight class, which he made and looked healthy. A feat even Golovkin didn't do. These are facts. You could say, oh, it's the Golovkin fight but the fact is Golovkin never had Kell Brook dropped. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that Errol Spence is better or this. That's just the fact. That's what it is, right? He dropped him and made him take 2 knees, and Golovkin, a middleweight, never dropped him. Different attacks, different setups and stuff like that. So I liked it. I thought it was a very good fight. I liked that. And the ultimate thing is we want to see these young fighters challenge. And like I said, people still try to hate, not give credit, but you got to give credit, because we're talking about a guy who went from 0 to 60. Of course he's going to have some issues. So this is my tweet. Some of y'all are hilarious. Spence goes overseas, beats a champion, and some still don't give him props. He went from 0-60, journeyman to elite. Again, if you're a realistic person, I don't know why you would think that this fight wouldn't be competitive at all. Like Spence was going to go to Kell Brook's backyard and just and then knock him out in 2 rounds. Of course that's not going to happen. But you look at what he did, and with the 9-month layoff and everything, I thought he looked sharp. I thought he was defensively responsible enough where he did get hit with some shots, but he still was trying, he still was countering, he was stalking. And once he kicked up that level of aggression, that's where it really became bad for Brook. And you see, like I said, people are saying, oh, I've seen Errol Spence, he gets hit too much. But look at Kell Brook's face post-fight, and look at Errol Spence's face post-fight. Kell Brook's eye, and it's not even the Golovkin eye, so you can't use that. You can't say, oh, it's Golovkin did that to his eye. Like, no doubt about it. I watch my boxing. Miguel Cotto, when he rematched Margarito, he seemed like he was fading, and that was clearly, Margarito's eye looked like shit in that fight, but that was clearly reminiscent and residual from the Pacquiao fight. It was the same goddamn eye, of course. You know what I mean? But this was the southpaw who was hitting him in the other eye, and that's the eye that wasn't holding up. You know what I mean? But people say Spence gets hit too much. So obviously somebody who's slick and skilled and was providing movement, their face got more marked up than Spence. So you got to just give the man his props. So again, I said he went from 0 to 60. He went from journeyman to elite. Of course, it's not going to be easy. And I think the more people that did that, more will get competitive fights like Joshua Klitschko, Errol Spence, Kell Brook. So of course he'll have some issue. Bet you if more people started fighting their contemporaries, you see a lot more competitive fights, right? That's just how it goes. Pacquiao's fighting Jeff Horn, right? So if it's an easy fight, then that's what it is. But if Terrence Crawford fights Pacquiao, that's probably going to be a highly competitive fight for both. That's just the way it is. You fight, if you fight who you're supposed to fight and the biggest threats to your style, then of course the fight is going to be competitive. But all in all, man, I liked it. I thought it was a very good fight. I thought that both guys did well. It's just ultimately Kell Brook, he lost the battle of attrition and he wilted first. You know what I mean? He was the one. This is a crazy picture. Look. You know what's weird to me? This is just a side note, but Kell Brook, he was looking like Diego Corrales, the late Diego Corrales. Like when I was looking at him, I was like, damn, he looks like Corrales for some reason to me. Like his face, I don't know if it's his haircut or what, but he was really looking like him to me. I just thought that was a weird observation. Like, damn, he looks like Chico. But great picture with Errol Spence Jr., Kell Brook. He just good fight, but that you create that ripple in the pond going up to middleweight. That made no damn sense. Daring to be great and all that. I told you guys that don't really make sense to do that. And as a result, this is what happened. Now he's saying, I want to fight Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, and unify the division. Let's see it. And shout out to George Groves. I didn't get to make a post-fight, but he got the stoppage. And that's what I love about boxing, man. You never know when it's going to be passing up the torch. Shout out to Errol Spence Jr. I thought he looked sharp. I thought he weathered the storm. And again, for the people who aren't realistic, you're not going to go to someone's backyard, 33,000 people against you, and it's an elite level fighter with better names on his resume than you. You know what I mean? I don't know what fight y'all thought it would be. You know what I mean? What you thought he was just going to easily just go into? Of course, it's going to be Kell Brook's no punk. He can box. He can scrap. But all in all, that's how I seen the fight. Very good fight. A learning lesson. And Anthony Joshua and people like that, they gain experience from these types of fights. That body, I don't like that body language. Like how he backing up and like. See, it looked like he was about to get knocked out right there. So crazy stuff, man. Good fight though, very good fight. And again, I don't see how people can't even give Errol Spence props to fight Algiris of the world and Bundus of the world and Phil LaGreco to Kell Brook, and then holding your own in those early rounds, never touching the canvas. And it's just so funny, man. Like this, I love what I do. It's very funny, very passionate people. And like I said, people, they can steal concepts and stuff like that, but you got to be accurate. You got to be right. People have to value what you're saying. And I'm not always right. I'll be the first to admit that, but you got to know what the fuck you're talking about. That's the first step. And a lot of people were saying, oh, Errol Spence, he's weight drained. He looks like Skeletor. But what happened in the fight? Oh, he gets hit too much. He had a busted lip. But look at Kell Brook, what he did to the face of what Errol Spence did to the face of Kell Brook. I think that was far worse than the busted lip. See, that's the stumble part, where he stumbled back, and then after that, you seen that he, oh shit. Breaking news. Congrats, Errol Spence, but there's no true champion or king until you see me. Wow. Let's go. Another video coming soon. Let me know what you guys think. That is the realest breakdown. I enjoyed the fight. Keith Thurman's now says Errol Spence is worthy. Let's go, man. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.